What up? Legendary Talks. This is episode, I think, 89. We're nearing our 100th episode. I'm very excited about that. It's coming up, I think, in about 3 weeks. I can't remember. How's everyone doing tonight? What y'all drinking? I am having Belvedere and soda. Oh, perfect timing. We have Jennia and Sol, and they're already here. They are perfect. Hey, what's up, Crazy Legs? So we have Jennia and Sol, two great people that you're about to either meet or get to know, or you know. Very excited to chat with them. Wonderful, cool LA peeps. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up? What's up?
We're trying to get ourselves adjusted. We can't turn our camera, huh?
I don't think so.
No, this way, yes.
We gotta be straight up and down. Can you hear us good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is this your first live?
Yeah, this is our first IG.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
Yeah. It's our first IG live.
So.
We stay from the live.
Well, she hit me up and was like, "What's the Zoom link?" I'm like, "It's IG Live, boo. There ain't no Zoom link." That's so funny.
Yeah, I played myself.
Yeah, it's our first
live. IG.
How
Hey,
are you guys
doing? It's good to be here.
How are you guys feeling? Good?
Really good.
Feeling really good. Good week.
Long time no see, right?
I know, right?
Monday, chilling.
I'm sure everyone here knows you.
No,
but
Sunday. We saw it.
In case you don't, Legendary is legendary because of his legendary events.
Yeah, he throws the best parties. I was gonna say in LA, but I've been to his some of your things in New York too, so everywhere.
Just listening. Just listening.
You bring the party.
You bring the vibe.
Yeah.
Well, I like to say I bring good people together, so you know.
Indeed.
Okay, so first, you guys know about Legendary Talks. This is my, I think, 89th episode. I basically have, during the quarantine, thank you, I have brought, really interesting people on that have been very important to culture. I think, it kind of took a shape of its own. The first couple days I was just inviting friends, but then, it became a celebration of people that have been very important to culture in every aspect. Doesn't matter if you're, I say, very well known, no one knows who you are. I invited people on that I thought were very important to culture, and then they've had really important stories to tell. Stories with Tupac, stories with, these really interesting, cool things. So yeah. I thought you guys would be really great to have on, obviously. So, but I like asking people to introduce themselves. So tell me if I didn't know who you were, like explain to me who you are.
Okay. I am Jennia Fredrique Aponte. I live in LA. I'm a writer-director. I have several projects in various stages of development right now, a couple of which we are over the moon about, but I don't like to talk details until usually when it's in the can, right?
Yeah, so we got a release date.
Right. I love what I do. I make art on the side, and I study metaphysics on a daily, and
True.
Despite this quarantine, we're enjoying life.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time. Hope you are too. My name is Sol Aponte. We're married. We've been together for almost 13 years. Wow. Where do I start? I'm a lot of things. I'm a lover of life. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a producer. I'm a sound engineer, and I like to have a good time and enjoy life.
All around cool guy. That's what you should say.
Yes.
Noted.
Great. So I could not have said it better. So that's why I like when people introduce themselves, because I think it's a really interesting question. Some people don't enjoy doing it. Some people do, really enjoy doing it. So I think it's a really good first question. I always start with that one. Okay. So Jennia, you're from Gary, Indiana, Midwest, right?
Yes.
And you're from New York, Sol, right?
Yeah, New York, New Jersey.
So I'm from Midwest, as you know. We've talked about this many times. I'm from Detroit. You're from Indiana. What do you think, Jennia, we'll start with you. What do you think the main influence of Gary, Indiana that you kind of took into life with you? What's the main influence you think?
Oh, that's a really good question, Damon. so much. It
Crazy Legs.
really. Hey,
Cocktail
Crazy
time.
Legs. Hey, Plaza Azul. Did I say it right? Always mess up the pronunciation. Gary, Indiana, for me was such a great. It was really wonderful for just the creation of my, you know, my person and what it gave me. Gosh, so many things. It was, you know, going to all Black schools has its advantages. I can't really think of too many disadvantages to that, except that you may not have the best resources in the state, but the experience of being of so many things being for us by us was so it was kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
And I stayed all through, like I left at 18, so it's a really big part of who I am. Was I talking to you?
Yeah, no, I think you're very Gary. She's very Gary, Indiana. She reps.
I love being where
I'm from Detroit, and I see a lot of similarities in you and I, and the fact that, you know, we're from these Midwestern towns, and I think that I think Detroit could be a little. Detroit's very rich in culture and very rich in music, but it could be a little gray, I like to call it. And as a result, it made me very creative. You know, it's like you can either be into the grayness of it all, kind of boring basically, or you can suck the creativity out of it and take it and run. I moved at 18 as well, so you mean.
Right.
It definitely made me very colorful because it was very gray.
Yes, I like to. Yeah.
Gary and Detroit have a lot of similarities.
And she left right after she graduated high school. She was out.
Yeah, a day after I graduated, I left.
I know that's right. So what do you think New York influenced you?
You know, I'm very East Coast. Like I like to think that I still have some East Coast in me.
You do.
I was I do. You feel that East Coast
Yeah,
vibe?
for sure. Totally, for both of you actually, but you know.
Melinda, she said y'all might be family.
Oh yeah, Melinda's from Detroit.
Oh yeah.
I think all around, like, you know, I was really close to hip hop and hip hop culture. Growing up on the East Coast, I grew up right outside of Newark, New Jersey, right across the bridge, and then we moved to Baltimore. So yeah, I was very East Coast, like that whole Northeast corridor. You know, most of my friends are from New York or Connecticut, and then when I moved down to Maryland, it was, you know, the DC influence, the DMV. And it's just a vibe. It's just a culture. I like to think that I bring that with me, but, you know, I don't know. What can I say? I've been here for 20 years, though.
Yeah, but I think you definitely give me an East Coast vibe, and I think once you have lived it, it doesn't go away. It's in you. You know, it's kind of like in your blood at that point. You know, like I like to say, I love being from Detroit, and I tell everyone, you know, I can as much as I can. I'm from Detroit, so you know, I've lived, you know, many places, and I love saying I'm from Detroit. It's a part of me forever. So, what songs? So what artists did you kind of like? What songs were popular when you were like? What were the artists you connected with growing up?
Me? Oh man. I remember the first hip hop record. My cousin was one of the New York City Breakers. Shout out to Crazy Legs. I saw he's in the building.
Shout out to Crazy Legs.
My cousin was one of the New York City Breakers from the Bronx. Yep. And so when he would come to visit in Jersey, man, he just had me open off. I remember hearing the show, Dougie Fresh, and he would come to Jersey and like, yo, where's everybody battling? Take me to the battles. I'm like, yo, they don't do that like around here. He was like, bullshit, let's go. And he would go with his boombox and his nunchucks. So like the early 80s stuff, man, from like Dougie Fresh to Houdini to Eric B. and Rakim, of course, like that kind of laid the groundwork for, you know, for my love of music. And then, you know, as I got older, we were talking about who our favorite artist of all time is just the other day. And I would have to say, and this is, I think, a place where we all connect as far as an artist who's like the best of the best, top of the top, who is like, you know, all praises due. Yeah, will be the Purple Man himself, Prince, man.
Prince.
We're not there yet. We're jumping ahead. We're still in the 80s hip hop New York. We're not there yet.
But,
for me, growing up, I was always a little bit. I don't want to use the word different because people say that, but they did call me Denise Huxtable in school, and you know, so I was into classic rock when I was a kid. You know,
being called Denise Huxtable is probably the best thing someone can be called. Let's just be clear about that. You mean?
Right?
Well,
all my friends swear that they're Denise. I'm like, you are Vanessa. You are not Denise. That's really clear. Yeah. So.
Well, to be honest, at home I felt more like Rudy, but okay.
No, but Denise is the coolest thing under the sun to me. She is one to me an icon. So.
Right.
Definitely an icon, but I remember, being a kid watching that show and feeling so represented just by seeing her because she was a little bit different and she went against the grain. And so I was into music that, quite honestly, I didn't share with my friends because you would get roasted for almost anything. So taste in music was one of them. So when everybody was listening to rap, I was at home listening to Joe Cocker and Lenny Kravitz and Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
And, I'm just going to own it right now.
You should.
Yeah, but like, as a kid, it's probably, different than everyone else. But as an adult, that's so cool that you were into that music as a really young kid. That's very cool to me.
Yeah, no, it's so cool.
Jennia, I have a question for you too, Jennia. What's the first star moment that you remember as a kid, whether it be like Diana Ross at an award show, or like was it the kind of like not the Joni Mitchell moment, like the star moment? You know what I mean? Non-Michael Jackson. I'm only excluding him because everyone always says him first. So like, I love him, but like, it's nothing against him. But the first star moment you really remember as a kid.
Honestly, it was that moment of pure awe for a celebrity. It was, I saw the Josephine Baker story, and it changed my entire life.
Wow.
Like, I'm a Francophile, I'm obsessed with Paris, I'm sorry. But she was, what she had done, I'd never read about in any school books, I'd never seen, and she was the first Black star, like like a mega star. She was
fabulous, totally fabulous, truly fabulous,
Yeah, I saw a film, and then I became obsessed because I really felt like she represented me. She was a dancer. She was known for being goofy when she was younger, but she, loved all the pomp, and she was so glamorous. And I always loved glamour, even in my gray Gary.
And what did you want to be when you were like a kid, basically?
Well, I wanted to be everything from an astronaut to a dancer to an actor. And I pretty much got to be all of those things.
You're doing pretty good. You mean like so.
I achieved success as an actor, and I worked as a dancer before, so I could say I was a professional dancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I still dance every day.
And so what about you? When you were like 10, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be an astronaut, and then I had a little phase where I wanted to play basketball, and then I moved to Baltimore and realized I was never going to play no matter what. And so I think for me, I first knew what I didn't want to do, and I didn't want just like a regular job. I didn't see myself going into an office every day, and experiencing that whole culture as a lifestyle. And so, I gravitated towards music as an artist. And then still not sure what I wanted to do, just knowing that I wanted to work in entertainment in some capacity. And so I went to school for sound engineering, just to be close to the music and to be, entrenched in it.
Yes, astronaut.
Yeah.
To the moon, Alice. Yeah, we both wanted to be
I think
astronauts.
What shattered my dreams with the astronaut was that explosion in, was it 84, 85, something like that? Oh, man.
That was the most. Yo, how can you move the crowd? Have an entire world watch a live taping of a spaceship blowing up.
We're not going to get political.
We're not going to get political, but goddamn, did that.
So then I knew I wanted to work in entertainment. Hilarious.
That's cool.
So I knew I wanted to work in entertainment in some capacity. And so, in going to school, I kind of figured it out. I figured out what I was good at, what my strengths were. And then, one thing led to another, and, I just kept pushing forward.
Jennia, did you ever live in New York? You did, right?
I did. I lived in New York for about a year in Tribeca.
Before LA, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So why did you move to LA, Jennia, first?
Man, I moved here for the business only. That was really my only reason why. And I lived in Chicago. I lived in New York, first Miami after high school, then New York, and then I moved to Chicago for a few years, and that's where I wanted to study theater. I'm so grateful I did because, you know, it's such a gritty experience. You know, they train like New York. I mean, you know, you get your ass kicked and handed to you after it's been kicked.
Yeah.
But, so I came here. I felt like I got everything I could from Chicago, which now I don't believe is true. But that's what I thought at the time. And so I came out here, despite all of my natural instincts, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I cried for the first 6 weeks I moved out here because I felt like, I don't know if you've ever spent any time in Chicago, but it has a really good music scene, some amazing DJs, great parties, a lot of
culture. It has culture.
lot of cool young black culture was happening.
Yeah.
I'm talking about cool.
It's
like,
very similar to Detroit. It has its own culture as well. Like Chicago has its own culture. Where LA, especially during that time, was lacking, very, very much lacking culture. You know, very much so.
Yeah.
It seemed like the only culture, at least from the outside looking in, was gang culture.
Yeah, it wasn't, and a very, the vibe I got, and maybe that's just what I saw, or because I was just so
it's very
disappointed with the city. It felt way more materialistic, and it felt plastic, you know.
Well, up until recently, I said LA is a white rich man's town. It is, you know. So, I mean, it's changed. I think it's changed the last 5 years a lot. But we're talking about, you know, back in the day. Right. And then, so why did you move to LA?
For entertainment, for the business. I knew that you know, at the time, prior to moving, I was in Baltimore. I just graduated from college, and I had a son. Like as soon as I graduated, he was born actually the month before I graduated. So. But I knew that there was a ceiling, there was a cap where I was. There was a cap in Baltimore, there's a cap in DC for the career that I wanted for myself. And I knew I had to, you know, either go back to New York, which I didn't feel was the right move, or come to LA. And so I came in search of gold, man, just like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big component. I tell everyone, you know, I was young people in that, you know, I don't know, 18 to 25-year-old age bracket. Make a move. It's a really important part of life I would say, to get on a plane and decide you're going to do something for yourself. You know, I did 18, you did 18, you did it probably around the same time. You know, it's really important to do that for yourself, for life. If you stay, being born in New York is amazing. I moved to New York, but you know, being born there is amazing. But if I was born there, I would not have been as ambitious, I don't think. You mean so? You mean so? And you moved to LA, which probably made you more ambitious. You mean so?
Yeah. But even if you were born in New York, I would suggest living somewhere else. Or wherever. You have to leave, I think, where you're from to
I think so.
The problem is too, I think you get too comfortable where you're born. You know, like there's a familiarity that, you know, the lack of familiarity is what challenges you in a good way. So,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like you hating LA probably made you really successful. Do you see what I'm saying?
You get out of that comfort zone and you have to hustle. You have to make it. You don't know anyone. Like there's no family. So you spend your time pushing and pushing and pushing.
Fact.
Well, like one of my favorite things is, you know, I know tons of people, as you all know, but I like going out by myself. Sometimes I want to go out with friends. Sometimes if it's an event or something, I'll go alone. I enjoy it because you meet so many people. You mean, if you're kind of with your two friends, you meet less people. I like going out alone sometimes because you're out of your comfort zone. I mean,
and forced to converse, you know, with strangers.
Yep, and I end up meeting lots of good people that way. So, wait, that brings me to my next topic. You guys there's a certain percentage of people that come to my parties that come out to have fun. People go out for various reasons, to hook up, to get drunk, to avoid their life. You guys specifically come out to have fun, and I've witnessed it so many times. If if there's 5 people at the party or 500, you guys are having the same amount of fun, which is really great to like see. What are some of the best parties you've been to in LA, like ever?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the top of the list, and I think you're going to agree. And I feel kind of like a herb for still holding on the amazement of this one particular party, but that shit was everything. Diddy had a white party out here one year, y'all, and we were kind of new too, which was even better.
It was an all-day event. We got there at like 12:30.
Yeah, and Diddy was already there. He got whatever time it started. We got there a half an hour after. And Diddy, we have the same birthday, so I understand. Like, I'm at my party before it starts too. He did not, like in Atlanta and Chicago and New York, because clubs stay open so long. Black folks, when they have a party, they show up extremely late. They
Some
want to make
did.
sure.
Some did.
Some did. And
They were
that was
coming in
a
at the end.
mistake by them. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
But they think it's cute to show up late. I get it. Fashionably late. You make an appearance. Got it. I'm not that way, however. He was there early, and so were we. And we partied till everybody was leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like 9 o'clock, 9:30. It was an all day.
I don't care whatever time it was. We stayed the whole day, and it was.
And it was very East Coast. Like, it wasn't LA. If that makes sense. Like, just the DJs. I think SNS was there. A couple of DJs, several DJs.
Oh.
But it was just that East Coast vibe and the music.
The music was amazing, and I would just have to say I used to be very anti-wearing white. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And
he didn't have anything to wear. She was like, "What? What am I going to wear? I don't have anything."
I had a very bad attitude about it.
Oh, tell them about your first outfit.
It was
ugly.
That
didn't make the cut.
It was ugly because I had to find the white outfit. So I just pretty much found white clothes. It was bad.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding something cute. I really liked it, actually. And it was like a little strapless, fitted little situation. And it's like, throwing the work I was putting in, working out a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I would say no. Another one that I think would come in a close second is which one?
Which one?
With Jennia Monet, that was banging.
Ooh.
And that's
the night that Prince was in that little nook. Yeah.
So I was gonna say,
I think he did the other one that I'm about to say too at the Avalon. Did you do the Oscar party at the Avalon?
Was it Oscars or Grammys?
It might have been the Grammys.
Who performed?
Prince.
Avalon Prince performed? I don't know. Did I? I'm like, it's sad I don't know. It's sad I don't know.
He's been busy.
That one was
a vibe.
But as far as like parties, that Essence party was dope.
You did the Essence party with Janelle, and it was pretty amazing.
Prince was at that one. Prince came to that one.
Yeah.
Well, the story goes like that. He had played MSG. That party was on a Thursday. He had played MSG in New York on that Tuesday, and I was at that concert. And then I was at the Essence thing, doing the Essence thing 2 days later, and he was like, like, me again, hey. But yeah, there's many good. I mean, LA has good parties. I think the last 5 years in LA have been really a lot of cool stuff. Things, it's got new things that have emerged. There's a cool new kind of creative vibe in LA right now, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. You got to be on the list, though.
You also did, and that's where I don't know, that wasn't the first night, but I think that was the first time we had either met or saw Solange perform. You did something else for Essence.
Yeah.
And I think we crashed, and Damon was like, y'all are cute, come on in.
Don't tell anyone. My thing is, though, a lot of people have that story. Yeah, which I asked people what's their first memory of me, and it was usually a party situation. I was either real nice to someone or they think I was not being nice. I'm like, I was doing my job. Relax. I mean, they're like, you were so mean. I'm like, why? Because you were not on the list and didn't get into a party? That's not being mean. I'm like, but yeah, is that your first memory of me at the Solange one?
Yes, and let me tell you something. You had on a banging suit. I can't remember if it was blue sequins or I can't remember what it was, but it was, I think I do remember military lapels. Do you have something with the little military situation?
Sounds about right. I'm like, I got a lot that's so funny. Well, something I think is interesting about you, Jennia, is that you're from Gary, Indiana, which is Michael Jackson's hometown, the Jacksons' hometown, obviously.
Yes.
But you are not the biggest Michael Jackson fan, you're the biggest Prince fan, which is so ironic and funny, right?
The biggest Prince fan.
So with that,
I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. I love Michael. I mean,
no, I'm the same way. I'm like, I would say I'm 51-49, 51% Prince. You know, if I have to choose, I mean, I do choose Prince, but
listen. I don't have to choose, and I won't. But in terms of who spoke to me and my person, it was definitely Prince, because I love poetry and that brother can write his ass off. I just thought he was such a brilliant writer, and I mean, we can, but the man's voice, exactly the same in concert or on the record. Like, and his, you know, he could dance and he could play every instrument. And, you know, it was just so, I don't know, he was an enigma, and I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for his music and influence.
I would say Prince raised us.
Definitely.
So what's your first Prince memory?
My sister she had Prince albums. I wasn't hip to Prince. And she was older, so of course you think your big sister's cool. Yeah. She wasn't there, so I would be in all of her stuff when she was gone. And I started to play one of Prince's albums, and I remember just being blown away with just how good it was. And we went to see a concert, and I was still not as big of a fan as she was. But we went to see a concert in Chicago, and we had terrible seats. We were like Rosie. The stage was a speck, and I said, Nita, we can't stay here. And she was like, what do you think? I was like, just come on. So we went and snuck down, and we saw Prince from the 4th row, and it was just, it blew me away.
The rest is history, as they say, right?
I'll never be who I was before that night.
So, what's your first Prince memory?
I remember my cousin. I had an older cousin, and I was a Michael fan at the time. Like, you know, I was Michael. This was young Michael, and
dark skin Michael.
Yeah, this was dark skin Michael, pre-bad Michael, and she loved Prince, and I remember her parents, for some reason, didn't want her listening to Prince. And so it intrigued me. I was like, well, what? And she was a fan, like Prince. So it just made me want to know, like, yo, who? And she was into Prince. She was into Madonna. She was in, you know what I'm saying? And so it made me want to know more. It made me want to know about his music. It made me, it intrigued me. It didn't push me away. It brought me in, you know, just her love for it. So yeah, I think that's my first introduction to Prince. But the flyest meeting of Prince, the flyest experience, I think, was the after party at his crib. He was doing, you know, remember he was doing the 21 nights at the Forum. And this one particular night, you know, Shelby was like, yo, after party at P's. And we went over there, and there was like 25 people there. And he was watching the tape from that show, like from earlier that night.
We watched the concert. We watched the Prince concert with Prince.
Yeah. From that night.
And there wasn't 25 at that point. It was only like 12 of us, right?
Oh,
in that room, it was like
it was small. It was intimate.
A small amount of people, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was like right here, and I kept being like, I just felt like it was like a weird parallel universe, and I just couldn't believe I was sitting right there watching Prince with Prince.
And then they went and jammed for an hour.
Yeah.
After that. And this is like starting at like 2:30 in the morning after watching the concert, eating, boom.
We left before it was over, but we left at like almost 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the fact that you know, and I've had some, you know, small intimate Prince moments as well, where I can't believe, I'm like you're saying, can't believe Prince is right here and playing the piano or something in a room and it's 10 people. But the fact that you left, I mean, because it would always go till 6 in the morning at least. I mean, I left sometimes too, and I'm like, am I leaving before, you know, Prince? And like, I mean, it's crazy, but you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had to get back to the babysitter. We were like, yo, we got to be here.
Yeah.
Funny.
It was a school day.
That is so funny. I have a good one. He did in New York. There's a place called City Winery, and he did these shows after the MTV Awards one year. Again, it started like 3 in the morning, and it was a Sunday night, and so they had windows, but they didn't have any curtains on the windows. So the sun was coming up at like 6 something in the morning, and people were going to work. So they were walking down the street and looking in and seeing plants performing, and like on their way to work, their morning coffee. Like what? People were like lined up. It was so crazy. They're like, "What is happening right now?" And he didn't stop till I don't know 7 in the morning or something. You mean? I stayed till the end of that night. It was crazy.
Yeah, we didn't want to get our kids to see us, with pieces of sequins stuck to our faces while we're trying to make cereal.
Making sandwiches for lunch.
So funny. You're like making cereal, being like, I was just with Prince 30 minutes ago. You mean?
Yeah.
Like, why are you complaining about your water bottles?
We're good parents, you see? We came home to make you breakfast and pack your
Priorities. Yeah, exactly. So, Jennia, we should talk about our love of documentaries. So, about a month ago, you were like, I'm going to recommend this documentary to you. And I said, don't be talking to me. I love documentaries. You're like, no, I love documentaries. We have watched probably, I don't know, 10 each that we refer to each other. And I've watched, I love documentaries I learn a lot by I guess I like people. I find people interesting. And that's why I love a documentary about a person, because you really get a chance to understand the weirdness of a person. That's what I like, I'm into that kind of stuff. What do you love about documentaries or?
Oh my God. I've never met anyone that I wasn't interested in their story.
I go the same way, the exact same way.
Yeah, and even if it's a clinical, boring PBS documentary, maybe because I grew up on PBS, but I don't care if it's boring and clinical. If it's packed with information, I am so interested. Like this morning, I watched a short doc. It was fuzzy as hell. It looked like it was shot on VHS, but it was about Hutchinson, who created he worked with like the Tesla theories. So he was moving energy and playing with frequencies. And I was just like, oh my, this is so interesting. But it was so like, the quality was so bad. But I love YouTube. There's a lot on there.
That's where you find the more unique ones, let's say, but
yeah.
Listen, I like the weirdness of people. I like the weirder the person, the more interesting they are to me, basically. So.
Facts.
Okay, so something else, the elephant in the room that we should now talk about is that you guys are like the best couple that ever existed. So, everybody always says that about you guys, as you know. How did you guys meet?
Oh, we met at a party. We were newly single. We were newly single for about the same amount of time, ironically, for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And we were at a kiss and grind event. And man, I spotted her from across the room, and there was like an instant recognition. I was like, that's her.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't even looking for her, and I just beelined over to her, and I don't know what I said. I was just channeling. And
you jammed. You said some good stuff.
And it worked. And then whatever I said, she left with me that night, and we were like, yo, let's continue. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then Jennia, was it kind of love at first sight, or like what was your vibe?
Keyword vibe. It was really vibes at first sight.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. This is so weird because he is so cute to me.
Oh, thank you.
But I didn't know he was cute when I first met him. It wasn't until our official first date where I was like, oh my God, he's also handsome.
Yeah.
But the energy, if he felt like home, like from the first moment we talked, it was kind of like when you meet somebody, like our friendship, Damon, like there's no work involved, right?
Yeah.
It's just like we recognize each other as tribe, like let's move on. It really felt like it just felt so good and felt like home, and we were on we were doing the same type of spiritual work at the same time. We were both writing down our gratitude, and we were reading the same types of books. It was, you know, there was a really similar vibe. And then on our first date, I recognized, like, oh God, well, bonus, this dude's actually cute. And there's an attraction here. So yeah, I didn't recognize him at first as good looking, which is weird.
That's actually, I think, a big compliment. You cared about him and his soul and who he was, you know, before the physical. So it was like more of the, you know, connection, and then the physical is a bonus on top, you know. And then, you know, it's interesting.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what's interesting though is that you're saying that you know, you guys vibe so well together, but you also emote that vibe to other people together as a unit. You have a certain vibe about you guys, which I think really is attractive to people. You know, you guys are both attractive, but that's not it. It's your, like you're saying, it's your energy that attracts people to you, I think, as a couple, you know, so.
Appreciate it.
What a compliment.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Well, you guys also, like, you fit perfectly. You're like, you know, like a puzzle that fits perfectly, the two of you, so, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
It feels like that.
But you know what? We do a lot together. You know, like we feel like we're, you know, really connected on a soul level.
Yeah.
So, you know, we engage in the same sort of practices of giving thanks and, you know, writing down what we're grateful for, and, you know, affirming and uplifting one another. And we decided a long time ago to just, you know, to support one another and to not point the finger. And when we want to, you know, it's more of a self-reflection thing to, like, okay, why am I upset? Why am I about to get upset with you? It's probably something brewing within me that's unresolved. Let me just deal with that so I can bring you love and upliftment and encouragement. So that's the practice. And so I think that's what, you know, we drink herbal teas, and, you know, we take our minerals and zinc and bladderwrack and all of that to stay charged. You know, we do things consciously to stay charged up.
Now, not eating a lot of junk and processed food will have you reflecting on yourself before you're like, oh, you know what, you're the problem, bro.
It's true, you're right. You know, it makes you a little stank, basically, by eating bad food, you know, so not in a place of gratitude. And, you know, you guys have a calm energy. You know, eating bad food doesn't make you calm. It makes you crash, go up, go down, all that stuff, you know, so.
Think about it. If there's chemicals in processed and unnatural foods, it can't just be affecting you in a way that is just like not the healthiest. It has to be doing something to you molecularly, to your brain, like
exactly. Connection so that, you know, you
honestly, it affects your, like, level of happiness versus depression, which then affects your everything. So, you know, all that. So I would say exercise. I love exercising. Exercising is the biggest antidepressant that ever existed, the most natural antidepressant. And I love exercising, and it makes you feel great. So, you mean?
Yeah.
MOS is on here, by the way. DJ MOS, another great couple. DJ Kiss, DJ MOS. They're the other favorite couple. You two and those two. Why do you think everybody loves you guys as a couple? Because, you know, I've introduced you to a kind of like newer group of my friends in the past couple of months, and everybody says they're the best couple. They're the best couple. But why do you think that? Why do you think everybody thinks that about you guys from the inside out? You know.
Wow.
And everyone says that. Like, it's the most common thing I've heard about you guys. They're the best couple. You know. So.
That really warms me.
I never thought about that. Like, why someone would think that. I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's because of the way we relate with each other. Because, you know, honestly, we make a conscious decision. Well, it's habit now, but when we are together and we're talking about things that make us laugh. We're talking about things that are uplifting. We're talking about, we don't bat around problems. We don't gossip. We don't watch reality shows. We don't, you know,
I don't know.
We really focus on spending our time not complaining, which brings me to, we've had some things to say about this whole since March, this pandemic. And I was gonna say, I thought about it today, like, okay, I think I'm done complaining about what's been going on.
Yeah, you know, letting that energy even exist around you, and, you know, in you and in your house. Yeah,
I think I'm done with that right now.
Well, something before you go on, something you said, Jennia, I think, you know, reality TV and gossiping about people and things, that's the equivalent to me. I don't do any of those things either. I can't stand reality TV. gossiping to me is one of the worst things people can do. Right. For me, that's like eating the equivalent to eating junk food and then what it does to your body. It's the same thing to me. It's actual reality TV is junk food. I've said it a million times. I mean, it's like eating a whole cake, like basically, and how you feel after, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would second.
Oh no, that's Lynn. Hey, Lynn.
Oh, our neighbor's on there. Our neighbor Lynn. She said it's a vibe.
She's right next. She's literally right next door.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that. I mean, I think that I would add that I think that when we're together, it's like it's an amplified vibe. Like she brings her own vibe, I bring my vibe, and I think the two vibes, we're both like. Our waves are like both sine waves. I
agree with that. I totally feel that. Yeah, you guys are separate. You're similar, but you're very separate. But together, it's just double. I agree with that. Yeah.
If that makes sense. So when you're talking about vibes and energy, it's like an amplification because there's two.
True.
And then if you each could give one piece of advice to anyone, couple-wise, like Jennia first. What's one piece? What's the one piece of great advice you give to a couple or anyone looking, relationship advice?
Oh man.
Just one.
Just one? Okay. It would have to be appreciation.
Got it.
And the reason why.
She's wise.
There's so many things in a relationship that if you look at it, there's so many things to appreciate in any relationship. And if it's true that we get what we focus on, if I'm focused on how much I appreciate him and even the little things like bringing me like if we're in the house and you bring me a little water or something, like just some little things.
Yep.
That form of appreciation, I think it's so healthy. And I read an article, they say the number one reason for infidelity, the lack of appreciation.
Wow, interesting.
I just dropped the mic.
No, that was a bar. Those were gems. I used to tell her earlier in our relationship, and I still tell her, but more then because it was so new. I was like, listen, you gotta write that. You gotta write this stuff down. Like, I don't know who taught you what you're talking, but I need to thank your mom. Call your mom on the phone right now. I need to thank your mom because she would just drop gems in not only in her words but in her mentality.
Yeah.
And it was for me, it was like a Midwest thing because it was my first time with someone from the Midwest, and so I attributed it to that. But the more I explored, the more I realized that it wasn't just that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there just her way of thinking was to me at the time when we first got together just seemed evolved, and it seemed like a lot of just petty little small things she wasn't even checking for
I'm big
at
picture
all,
pretty much all the time.
So it creates a space. It creates a space when you're not dealing in low vibration to deal in high vibration. Let's talk about our goals. Let's talk about our ideas. The same amount of time that is typical or normal to spend, talking about someone or gossiping or complaining. Okay, cool. Let's not and spend that same amount of time or more because we're having so much fun. And let's create something. Yeah. Let's build and uplift and support one another.
Well, that creates a space for all that. If you're not doing those things like gossiping, you have the actual space and time available and open. So you already start kind of at an elevated level, as you're saying, elevated, vibe or whatever, frequency.
Yeah.
No, you guys are, the couple. Everyone says it. And I was just,
Wow, that's what an honor. And a lot of people too, man. So
everyone I've introduced, because I feel like I've introduced you to some different groups of my friends in the past couple months, and every single person does the same thing. It's so funny. I'm like, yes, I know, like.
Yeah, whatever.
So a couple weeks ago, we all went to brunch and we sat down at the table, and all of us had really good news, which is great. We all sat down. I know it has been actually kind of good and thriving time, the quarantine for you guys. First of all, you have Anatomy, which was airing the whole time, right?
In pieces. So they were specials for Revolt. So 2 of them aired last year.
Okay, got it.
And then one aired this year on Valentine's Day, and another one just premiered on Monday, the day before yesterday.
So explain a little bit about it, what it is, and
Okay, yeah, it's called the Anatomy of series, and it's really just it's a 4-part docuseries, just in love of
Celebrating Black excellence.
Thank you. I couldn't get that word out.
I got you.
Thank you. Celebrating Black excellence. So we started off with Anatomy of a Queen, and we just talked to really amazing women. A couple of them are on here right now. Melinda, Mecca, just women that are in the game, just that are killing.
Being amazing. Being queens of being amazing,
women from all walks of life. I think 13 in total.
Yeah, we had an 18-year-old millionaire. We had the
self-made millionaire.
Self-made millionaire. We had
several women that own their own businesses and singers. Whoopi, we had Melinda was on there before, and others. And then we so that premiered for Women's History Month in March of last year, and then for Father's Day, because of the traction and the success that one got, we were commissioned to do a second one honoring dads, and so we call that one the Anatomy of a King, the Art of Fatherhood. And so with that one, we wanted to kind of fuse the art world and just the art of being a dad, and celebrate fathers who typically don't get that shine. Not that fathers don't, but just fatherhood in general. And so we had 6 dope fathers who allowed us to kind of come into their life and see, what it is that they do in their day-to-day, and that was dope. And then we did Anatomy of Black Art, celebrating Black culture and Black excellence in different faculties.
Black love first.
What did I say?
Black art.
That's what I meant. Black love.
Black love. Black love. Yes, we had some beautiful couples that, to us, their love inspires us. So we had them. We had Michael Jai and his wife Gillian. We had Melinda Williams and her husband Tariq Walker. We had Olivia Fisher and Russell Clayton.
Yeah, Olivia and Russell. We had Eric Bellinger and his wife Lamaya.
Yes.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Some really dope
Tabitha
couples.
Brown and her husband.
And her husband Chance. Yeah, you might know Tabitha Brown. But couples who are unapologetically in love with each other. That's what we love. That's one of the things that we love about them. All of the couples that we featured love each other openly. It's not a secret, and it's they're not hating it publicly or whatever.
Were you guys in that one?
Oh yeah, we were in that one too.
I say couples, basic couples just like you is what you're trying to say. And then the last one you did was Art, which was just on last week, right?
Yeah, it was on Monday. It premiered on Monday, the Anatomy of Black Art, and we were really excited about that. We just started getting into just the culture of Black art and the Black art scene. And
it's doing so well right now too. There's so many Black artists that are really
thriving.
Oh my gosh,
really thriving right now.
But we've had many conversations about that one in particular, and I know a lot of Black artists, but you turned me out. Like we kind of we're sharing. There's so many like flourishing Black artists at this time. It's a really good time for art, Black art. There's lots of artists, and they're all doing really well. So, it's a great time for Black art.
And a lot of them have said that since March, ironically, they've been having the greatest 6 months of their careers. Like in the past 6 months. Yeah. So it's great. Gallerists as well.
Yeah.
All the gallerists that we know have let us know that it's been a really, really good time for them.
And is that the first kind of show that you guys created and all that whole thing?
No, that was the second one.
We have a show that airs on Amazon called Beyond the Talent, and it's just a fun interview series where we talk to big artists in music. And
is a music-based interview series. Jennia's the host, and then we do a little. You can catch it on Amazon Prime. It's called Beyond the Talent, but it was fun. We did that one, just to kind of get on the books and show, what we could do and what we could deliver. And so we did 6. We did a bunch of episodes, like close to 50. And so we condensed this to 6 half-hour episodes, and each episode features 2 artists. So you get two segments with each artist. And so we got, we got Akon, we got Usher, we got T-Pain, we did Rick Ross, we did Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart.
That Kevin Hart interview.
We did Kevin Hart.
We posted a clip on YouTube, and it was the most watched Kevin Hart interview at the time, more than like Ellen, more than
Jay Leno, all of them, Conan, everything. Yeah.
Because it was kind of funny.
It was hilarious. She was being really silly. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Amazon Prime. So that was our first, and then was it Anatomy Series? And then we did a couple short films
Yeah.
Okay.
that did really well in the film festival circuit. The first one we did, we were in. We believe in, you know, like the Dame Dash mentality, like, you know, putting up your own money, you know, owning it, controlling it, you know, as much as possible, which is the Prince mentality as well.
Yep.
I saw Estelle just post something about that today or yesterday. But
Yeah.
so we did those.
Sacred Heart was
Sacred Heart.
our first film. Oh, Melinda shouted out Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Sacred Heart was our first film. We shot it in Paris, and I tell people that was our Prince album because we did every single thing. I wrote it. I did the costume design, the production design,
like 6 credits on the whole film.
He did. He composed the music. He edited it. He did all the sound design.
I did the sound. Oh my God, we had a DP who did everything. Like he did all the lighting.
He could do lighting. Yeah, it was really.
It was a very small crew.
It was.
But we shot between LA and Paris, and when you see, we did all the interiors in LA, all the exteriors in Paris.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. You can't tell one from the other.
You can watch it right now on www.sacredheartfilm.com.
Yeah, you can just click on it and play. It's
and
fun,
you can
15
see
minutes.
It's a really fun 15 minutes. I'm still kind of proud of it. I revisited it the other day.
Send me all, after this, send me all where everything is, and I'll post everything for you. Like, you know, the film, anatomy, revolt, all that stuff. I'll post everything tonight so people, you know, so they know where to find it. Jennia, can you talk about what you told me about the new thing that is coming up for you? Or you know, talk about it yet, or the?
I'll talk about the film.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Okay, well, I didn't know if he was talking about the other thing.
No, I'm talking about, you know, the good news that you told me about yourself.
Well, the good thing, I'm so excited, you guys. Yeah. So excited about this. I'm going to be directing my first feature film.
Amazing.
We're shooting in Montana. Yes, it takes place during the late 1800s.
Yeah, period piece. First feature film is a period piece. Okay?
Great.
Honestly, I just have to say this. I really never, ever have to direct a film that has cell phones and computers in it. Like, I don't need it. I don't have to have text bubbles in my movie. I just love a telegram, a payphone, a phone on a wall, people going home because they're waiting on a phone call.
This is exactly why I love you, by the way. This is why I love you, right here, right there.
I'm really obsessed with the time period. But, I don't want to say who it stars yet.
No, that's not important. You know, I just want to be able to announce that you're directing your first feature film, and it's really amazing. I'm really happy for you. I can't wait for you to have that experience, and it's going to be really amazing. I'm just excited for you. So, I mean.
Thank you.
And that one shoots in Montana.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's so beautiful there.
She's got animals, horses, and wolves.
Well, I might not.
All kind of.
What if I don't get the wolves? I got horses for sure.
Listen, we have 5 more minutes. I have a bunch more questions. So hold on. So what's your dream project or dream job? Both, or you can say it separately or together, you know, whatever you want.
Honestly, what I'm doing right now,
Awesome.
it's all about doing projects that inspire, uplift, and elevate the culture in some way.
Yep.
And all of our projects right now, that's what it is, and that's really my dream and my purpose for being here is that.
Amazing.
Mine is similar to that, but with the component of distribution. I had a meeting with Bill Duke a couple years ago, and I said something to the effect of, you know, content being king, and he said, "You're right, but distribution is God." So I would love to, you know, be a part of, you know, a camp, an organization, or you know, a group on the front lines of setting it up so that we have not only our own means to create content, but also distribute content direct to our audiences.
Yep. So getting back to when you moved from New York to LA, that's exactly why you moved to LA, to learn and know all that. That's why. You're not learning that in New York, you know what I mean? So there you go.
Exactly.
Okay, we have five minutes left. I want to ask you a couple of things. What are you grateful for at this moment?
Whoa. Right now I'm grateful for today, this life, and learning how important it is to be present. Because I think as human beings, especially Americans, we get so caught up on future events, like, and when this happens, and then I'm going to be happy when this happens, and when, you know,
Yeah.
I think the more we work on being as present as humanly possible, you know, the better off we'll be. Because
Yeah.
you know, we spend so much time expecting stuff that we don't take the time to say, like, right now, sitting here talking to you is so much fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people shut off their Instagram. I didn't realize that till after. Leonardo DiCaprio, who I love, is doing something where we're supposed to have the grandma. I don't know, but I don't care. But like you said, we go to a party, and if it's only 5 of us,
We're having a blast.
Listen, and you know, we're sharing positive things in the world right now, but you know, with this conversation, so you know, we're supporting positivity and you know all that. So, what are you grateful for, Soul?
I'm grateful for health. I'm grateful for state of mind, state of being. I think that that's what's really important. You know, there's always going to be something happening. Especially, you know, if we listen and watch the news, like there's always something to be afraid of, to fear.
Yeah.
And I think that, so I'm grateful for state of being, because I think that that's what really is the determining factor to the life that we live. What are we thinking about? What are we grateful for? What are we focusing on? You know, one example I use for the kids is like, okay, well, you see that thing that you're complaining about, the thing you're upset about, okay, act as if those were lenses. Those were lenses that you had on glasses. Throw those away. Take these and rack focus, and look what's right there, has been right there in front of you. Just do a little rack focus. Just change the focus a little bit to see what's in the foreground or the background. And it's just really about perspective. So I think that with state of being, we're able to, you know, see those other things that are there and find something to be grateful for. So that's what I'm grateful for.
That's a great way of looking at it. Okay, how can we support you right now in general, both of you? Like, you know, anything, all your endeavors. Like, you know, it's a weird time. People aren't really working. How can we support you? Anyone watching?
I would say, you know, to just stay tuned to what we have coming. I don't really know. I think just follow what we have. What we have are projects that move the culture forward. That's what we have in the works. Like that, those are the only projects we involve ourselves in. And that we participate in and take on things that move the culture forward and expand consciousness. So
I say, to support me, what I would want you to do is something for you, and that's to start writing down everything you're grateful for.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just start with gratitude writing as a daily exercise, and watch even if you have a good life right now, just watch how your life will become even better. And then you can shout me out and say, hey, you know what? I watched you that time in September, and I started writing down what I was grateful for. And now, look, I'm a multi-millionaire. Like, my health improved, my relationship got better. I would say, for me, just start with writing down everything you're grateful for.
Good answer.
That's beautiful, by the way. Actually, both of your answers were amazing. But you guys are so intentional. It's like, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm taking away from this whole conversation. You guys are really intentional, more than most, in everything. So, and that's a really part of you guys' success in every aspect of life, in film, in your relationship, in your personal happiness. You're so intentional. So it's amazing.
I truly believe that life is not happening to you, like you're the creator. I'm sorry, go on.
Amazing. So fun question. 4 people to dinner, dead or alive, 2 each. Choose 2 people each. Jennia first. 2 people.
Baker, Prince.
Okay. So
2 different people than that.
Yeah, I know, right? You're like,
okay, Josephine Baker Prince. I would have I would pick Obama's brain. I would do Barack and Malcolm X.
Listen, I want to go to that dinner. Please invite me. I invite you to dinner. You better invite me to that one. You mean? All right, so it's going to hang up. After 1 hour, Instagram just hangs up, so I don't want it to hang up on us. But so I just want to thank you guys so much for doing this. You know, I choose people that I really, you know, respect what they do for culture. I've had every type of cultural person on here, DJs, artists, performers. What you guys are doing is so important, but also what you guys represent as a couple, I think is so important as well. Your work is important, but who you show us as a couple and things is also really important part for life and for culture. I want to celebrate you guys as a couple, but you guys as the artists you are as well. So, you know, I think it's two-sided in that way. So, you know, and I really appreciate you doing this. I think you guys are awesome. We obviously get along great. We hang out all the time, and you're fun, you're funny. You know, Jennia and I have so much in common. Like, we have a little quirky, weird side that we love, but I just want to say all that to say thank you guys. So, you mean?
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Damon. We were family from day one.
I think we have like 30 seconds left. Anything else you want to share before it hangs up?
I just love you. I think you're so fabulous. I love what you're doing. I love how positive you always are. Consistently, like you're the same, and you treat a major celebrity the same way you do someone you've just met, which I think is just heart.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that. I believe it. I always said the busboy and the owner are the same to me. You mean there ain't no difference at all.
And it shows. Yeah. And it shows. That cuts through.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Can't wait to see you soon, which I probably will. And congratulations on all your stuff. I'm happy for you guys, and I'm glad that you have a lot of things, coming up, and everything you're doing is really important work. So always remember that too. That is really important work. So
thank you so much, David. Appreciate you.
And
thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks to everybody that took the time to chat and leave messages.
Yes. I want to go back and read everything. Can I?
You gotta understand.
Okay. Bye, guys. Bye. See you later. Love you. Bye.